¿Dónde está grabando?
Está grabando acá.
Desde ya.
Si hablo, no,
Sí,
no,
no necesitas, o sea, si vas a algo micrófono,
me puedo
el
cagar.
parlante está ahí perfecto, o sea, no.
Me quiero salir.
Pero podrías hacer la presentación
Tienes
de
que hacerlo
Japón.
acá, sí.
¿Quieres esperar un rato más o ya
No,
empezamos?
yo creo que ya.
Ya, ¿no?
Si quieres, igual pégate por acá, creo que va a agarrar mejor la filmación, creo.
Sí, posiblemente sí.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight at the Well Detectives for this very special event that we are very proud and happy to present. I'm José-Carlos Boszeta. You guys know me. I've been serving you drinks for a good time now. So we want to thank, first and foremost, the Well Detectives and the amazing crew that we have here for keeping this place alive and thriving. And also our very special guests, José-Carlos Mariategui and Ana Torres Terrones from the José-Carlos Mariategui archive in Lima. They're visiting us in the context of the exhibition of the AMAUTA magazine that has been put together by several institutions in the past year, and it's been traveling around the planet. It started in the Reina Sofia Museum in Madrid. It went to Lima, Peru in July. Then it went to Mexico City, and it's finishing in Austin, Texas. They just came from Austin. They opened that exhibition today. And so I wanted to tell you a little bit about it and really start. I will try to be brief, but I want to tell you what this project is about. I brought the catalog of AMAUTA and Latin America, the Avant-garde networks of AMAUTA. AMAUTA was a magazine published in Lima between 1926 and 1930, directed by José-Carlos Mariategui. It's a very interesting and important thinker, writer, cultural critique, and whatnot that really redefined the possibilities for a very autochthonous and authentic way of interpreting history and the social processes at that time in Latin America. There has been a very important increase in interest about Mariategui's work around the world in the past 2 decades. I would say it has kind of exploded. It's a crucial thinker to understand the relationships of colonialism, social liberation, struggles around the world. It's a very important writer. And also, it's a very important cultural promoter. And a lot of the things that he kind of organized have thrived during the years, and everything in a way kind of came together in the project that AMAUTA was. That was brief but very intense. It brought artists, writers, politicians, and whatnot, all the way from Europe to Argentina. Every country in AMAUTA was represented somehow. So for me, it's particularly important to have this event right now because my project Dulzorada kind of mission is to try to rescue and reevaluate works of literature and poetry that have been that they're classics in Latin America, but we don't know about them in English. So, in a way, everything that I set up to do for the years to come crosses AMAUTA in a way, because Mariategui was such an imponent and important creative force at the time that he's kind of like the nexus of everything that was of importance, during that period. So it's very significant for me to have this conference. The work that has been done in this catalog, that is an impressive work. I would encourage you all to go to Austin if you are traveling. Stop at the Blanton Museum. It's an amazing exhibition. When I saw it in Lima with my wife Erin, we were we have to do something in Dallas whenever we come back, so people will know about this, and if they can make the effort to go to Austin and experience this. It's an amazing exhibition, and all of that has been all that institutional work that has been put together in the past years had started with these two individuals on their team 4 years ago in Lima. José-Carlos and Ana started tracing José-Carlos is not José-Carlos Mariategui, he's his grandson. Just make that clear. I don't want to, he's not been around since 1926.
1930.
Yeah. But the work that the archive has done of tracing all the connections and how far the networks of AMAUTA reach around the world was what really made possible the completion of this thing that is, I think, a major historic event in the cultural scene and the historic perspective. It has won, José-Carlos will tell you more about this, it has won a national award here in the US this year as the best cultural art publication. And so we are having we're very lucky today of having these two speakers. They are the world experts, hands down, about this subject. So let's see what they have to tell us. José-Carlos is going to talk a little bit about José-Carlos Mariategui, his grandfather, and his cultural work. And Ana's going to focus more on the actual analysis and the metadata and all the work that is kind of more technical that was done by the archive in the past 4 years. Before we start, no, I'm extending myself too much, but I want to tell an anecdote of how important for me it's the image of José-Carlos Mariategui in this magazine. How did I get into this? So I got this little volume here that is a catalog of AMAUTA that I bought when I was in high school. I was 15 or 16, and I was coming out of class, and I was walking around, and there's a lot of book vendors, and I bought that. And I brought it to my house, and my dad saw it. And my dad told me, José-Carlos Mariategui, AMAUTA. And so my dad told me a story. And my dad studied he moved to Mexico when he was 21 from Lima. He studied in Mexico. So when he was in Mexico City, in the university, they all the Peruvian students over there, they decided to create a circle of Peruvian students in Mexico. And they decided to start a study, a group of conferences around the figure of Mariategui, because it's been an influence in our society in Peru, but in Latin America for since the 1920s. So they wrote to the AMAUTA publishers, and they sent them 3 full collections of the whole works of Mariategui. They gave some to the people coming to the conferences. They kept some, but for me, it makes me feel like I'm doing something that reconnects me with my own history, my past, my family, my culture, and at the same time, I feel that this is so relevant for ourselves right now. No matter where we're from, it's a great set of ideas and thoughts to really study and kind of reflect on and see. How can that help us to understand where do we come from and where are we going? So that's on my part. I'm gonna, before we lead to our speakers, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about them, their biographies. So José-Carlos Mariategui, it's where he starts. I have to read this. He's a writer, curator, and cultural entrepreneur. He studied biology and applied mathematics at Cayetano Heredia University in Lima. He holds a PhD in information systems and innovation from the London School of Economics. His writings have appeared in the journals Third Text, the Information Society, Telos, and Leonardo. He's the founder and director of the José-Carlos Mariategui Museum, and is currently the director of the José-Carlos Mariategui Archive, Mariategui.org, which I would really recommend you to visit. All of this information is, and all of the magazines are completely digitalized and free to download online. It's an amazing, resource, Mariategui.org. He's advisor to the Peruvian Independence Committee for the Bicentennial, the MIT Press Series on Art, Science, and Technology, and the advisory board for the ANI and Society Journal of Knowledge, Culture, and Communication in the UK. And he's also the grandson of the influential Peruvian thinker, José-Carlos Mariategui. And Ana Torres Terrones, also from Lima, is a researcher, librarian, and communicator. She holds a BA in library science and a master's degree in information and knowledge processing from the National University of San Marcos in Lima, which is also my university, so we're from the same faculty. By the way, outside of that building, there's a statue of Mariategui, so we've seen Mariategui every day when we were going to class for like 5 years at least. She has worked as a coordinator for the Central Archive of the Natural Reserves of Peru, and is currently the general coordinator of the José-Carlos Mariategui Archive, as well as a leading researcher and assistant to the Peru exhibitions. I translated, I'll read it later, but I'll give you some copies. I translated. I feel that the best introduction to Mariategui, to AMAUTA as a project, is what Mariategui wrote in 1926 in the first number of AMAUTA. That is the presentation to it. So I gave you some flyers, and I feel I'm going, in circles. So I'm just gonna. I would like to ask for a warm welcome to our first speaker, José-Carlos Mariategui, with a round of applause, please.
Really, thanks so much for this warm welcome and those wonderful words. Thanks to Jose, who thought of setting up this activity, and we were really happy to join and since we were in Austin, it was really a pleasure to also come to Dallas, and also to the Wild Detectives and Javier Garcia del Moral, who were also our the ones who invited us to participate here, and also to Jose for setting up this installation exhibition that in some way competes with the exhibition in Austin. If it doesn't only compete, but it also I think it's a very interesting way of complement and connects in a way with what you will see hopefully if you go to Austin. I just wanted to add, you mentioned that and the exact prize is that this book has just won the Association of Latin American Art prize. It's called the Catalog Award for Exhibitions, which is sponsored by the Toma Foundation. And also would like to say that it's a very interesting moment regarding the writings of Mariategui. There's been a recent publication, the first biography on Mariategui, quite recently by Mike Gonzalez, published here, and the Monthly Review, which is, as you may know, a very important socialist monthly publication, has just published a review on that book. I would like to start, before explaining a little bit about Mariategui and about his cultural endeavors. I may say that it's also very inspiring to think that publications, especially magazines or journals, should be seen as platforms, and I think that the work that we've been doing at the archive was trying to develop a notion of the AMAUTA journal, not only as a journal, but also as a cultural platform and a space that where was not only a physical entity, but also a virtual space where people, organizations, ideas were in flux. And I must also say that I am a great admirer of many journals that were